Guess where you are? You are here at the MOX Life Show. I'm your host, Midori Verity, and I am a success mindset coach. And so I help you create a brain, a way of thinking that helps success come way easier to you so you can live the lifestyle that you really want. And on today's show, we have some amazing things going on. We have Sara Moore, who helped her son go viral on the internet, like super viral. And from there, she helped him get on to the Today Show, American Idol, and she did all of this all on her own. So she's going to tell us how she did all this and tell us about her compelling story, which you definitely want to hear. And then we have our very own Ed Troxel, our biz technologist, who is going to be helping us take what we learned from Sara and learn to do it on our own by creating our own one sheet. He is going to show us a super cool app and how we can do it really, really easily and look super professional. But of course, before we get to any of that, we have the MOX Life tip of the day. So come with me. Make sure you get your paper and pen out. Are you living an old story that isn't fulfilling you? Are you saying things such as, someday when I make all these millions of dollars, then I'm going to be super happy and fulfilled? Or someday I'm going to quit this crappy job and go find something that is way better. Maybe I'm going to start my own business someday. But then you catch yourself with these yeah buts and giving all these reasons why you can't do it. What I'm going to invite you to do is to flip your story and make new stories that are going to empower you and help you get to where you want to go. So instead of saying, someday I'm going to when I become wealthy and I have these millions, then I'm going to be happy. Instead, what about right now? What about right now saying, I am super happy and I love my life today? What it helps you do is it helps open you up. Instead of chasing after this dream of making millions or changing your job, it helps free you up so that you can be present, stop living that old story that you're telling, create a new story that allows you to free up your mind, free up your actions so that you can truly open up your life and your brain to accepting this new lifestyle that you really want. So let me know how it goes for you. I'd love for you to email me and tell me how it is going for you, or if you have questions, reach out and I'm happy to help you get to that next stage. So stay with us. My good friend Sara Moore is coming on to tell us how we can be media moguls and get onto these shows that we've always dreamed of. I am so excited to bring you Miss Sara Moore, who was formerly known in her last life as the queen of social media. And now she is I guess you're called the PR expert for her son, Avit. And we're going to talk all about him. But also what's super cool is she's a published author. You can see her book, Cotton Candy Clouds, and we'll talk to her a little bit about that too. But in the meantime, Sara, we want to know how you helped him get onto these amazing shows, and you did it all about with your little self. How did you do that?
Listen, this little boy has got talent. Have you seen his videos? So Avit was born with an eye condition called optic nerve hypoplasia. It's ONH for short. And essentially he has no vision in one eye. He has a little bit of vision in the other. He reads Braille, walks with a cane. And before he had turned one, he had been pulling himself up to my keyboard playing the piano. And it was almost so shocking that it almost didn't even faze me. You know, it was like, wait, this is so weird, but maybe this is so normal and I just don't know, right? And then as more people saw what was happening, they're like, this is not normal, this is phenomenal. Before he was out of his high chair, he was playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the ABCs, the Hokey Pokey. His favorite movie was The Sound of Music. Literally, this 2.5-year-old sitting in his little Mickey Mouse chair with a little juice cup and snack watching The Sound of Music. That was Avit.
So cute.
And, you know, one day I was driving down the road and there was this beautiful sunset and he see it, and I started to describe the cotton candy clouds to him. And so he's the inspiration for the book. But that's how significantly impaired he is. The reality is when he was 4, there was a viral Facebook video of him singing an Adele song. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. That was amazing.
I think
Remember,
like
4 years old singing Adele. Really? You kidding?
playing the piano and singing.
Yes.
Right? It was so beautiful. It was so good. And it lasted for probably like 5 to 8 days, maybe, going viral. A few people reached out wanting to like maybe share his video, stuff like that. And then I started to like catch wind of what this YouTube thing is. I'm like, okay, so my Facebook video went viral, but we didn't make any money from it. And people are making money from YouTube. What's really YouTube all about? And the more I got into it, I was like, you know what? Like, I think Aiden needs a YouTube channel. So I set him up with a channel, uploaded his videos, a couple of them, saw that he got a couple, views, a couple hundred views, and people were liking it. He had a couple hundred, maybe 100 subscribers. And then fast forward to he's getting ready to turn 7. It's like borderline his, he's still 6, but getting ready to turn 7. His video goes viral on YouTube singing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wait, hold on. I got to stop you for a second. It is important to know, what she just said. He went super duper viral when he sang Bohemian Rhapsody because it was relevant to what was going on right now. The movie came out and he happened to just nail it. But that's a key for whatever you're doing. Remember to stay relevant. Okay, keep going.
This video goes viral on YouTube. Listen, Facebook, cool if your video goes viral, but it only has a shelf life of like 7 days. On YouTube, you have a shelf life of 30 days plus. So it stays at its height for about 30 days, and then it continues. But with Facebook, it stays at its height for maybe 7, and then it falls.
Oh, that's good for us to know. I did not know that, so that's good for us to know. To the next stage, because this is the part where I'm like, Sara, how did you do this? Here's where I want you to break it down for us.
I'm just like thinking of an analogy, right? Lean your ladder against the right building. I guess that's just in my head right now. And, Facebook just wasn't the right building for us to lean our ladder against.
Right.
And literally, that video went viral on Facebook, but it didn't open up the doors of opportunity for the Today Show, for American Idol. Those things came when I leaned my ladder against the right building. Does that make sense?
Yes, we're going to remember that little quote. Okay, so tell us how this works. So you got invited to a certain show?
The Today Show called, and they were like, hey, we want exclusive rights to have you on our show. And I was like, oh, well, we're already in talks with Steve Harvey. And I kind of already, they were kind of first. I, verbally committed that we would do something. Well, the Steve Harvey show was going through like radical changes. So they were like, well, never mind, we don't want you on. So then a few days later, they come back and they're like, okay, fine, we're going to have you on. We're going to do it.
So you said yes to Today's Show because you invited me first. So then what happened? How did that benefit you in a way that can benefit others that are listening as well?
Okay, well, the reality is I said no. I said no to people that wanted to have rights and licensing to our videos. I said no to people that wanted to have us on that weren't at a certain number of viewership. Because I'm dealing with a 7-year-old here that can get exhausted, right? That
Sure.
I'm running my own business, like I'm exhausted, and plus I have a child with a disability. There's so much exhaustion that surrounds life already, right? So I wanted to make sure that if we said yes to something, it was going to be like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You know what I mean?
It's time for game time. Are you ready?
Okay, yes.
I hope you got some good tips from this part, but we are going into games. It is game time, and today we're doing something a little different. We are having our beautiful Sara and our fabulous Ed Truxell as our participants, and I'm the game show host because it's my show, so I get to be. Okay, so what we're doing is you guys each have a minute, and we're gonna keep track. I'm gonna keep score on here. So, what the game is I'm gonna give you a letter,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna tell you what word is associated with it, what the topic is, and you have to come up with as many answers as you can, and whoever comes up with the most during those 60 seconds wins.
All
You
right.
got it?
Okay.
The letter is I. And I want you to think of foods that start with the letter I. Start.
Iceberg.
Italian.
Ice.
Okay, I'm keeping score.
I had iceberg and ice.
Okay, Sarah, you had one.
Italian.
That was your
Igloo?
same one. Come on.
Igloo. Does that count?
No,
Food?
you can't eat it. Igloo.
Oh.
It's food.
With an I.
What is?
Ice cream.
Thank you.
Can I say ice cream too?
No, because I already said it. You can't take my thing.
Okay, let's think of other things.
If it's not food related, I got you on
It
this
can be
one.
a color. It can be something that goes with it, like indigo ice cream.
How about technology?
Okay, wow, you guys are super sucky. How are you doing at home?
What the heck is I?
I can kill I right now if we get technology in the game.
Okay, well, you guys have 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Indian, how about Indian food?
I win.
Here's the score. Ed had
We're
3.
supposed to get 15.
Sarah had 1.
I told you 3 was a good number.
Okay. Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
Today we are going to talk about what we call, or what is known as a speaker sheet or a one sheet. We talked about Sarah. Sarah came on and told us how she got her son to go viral, and then he got on all these crazy shows. There are processes to that, and the first thing that you're going to need is this. And so even if you're not trying to get on American Idol or the Today Show, you can use this to get speaking gigs. You can use it to get interviews on my show or the Today, or a podcast show, anything. But this is very, very simple. But it needs to be set up correctly, and you want it to look professional. And so that's where
I come into play. And so what you're going to want to do if you don't already know or have this is get a program called Canva.com. So Canva.com is a free program. They do have a paid option, which is what you have right now. And you're able to create a ton of different things, from business cards to social media posts to sell sheets like this. And so from your Canva dashboard, you're going to want to just create a document.
So it didn't have anything for a speaker sheet or a one sheet, but I was able to take different templates and move it around. What's awesome about Canva as well that you kind of hit on is that you can create a brand. You can have consistency. You can look professional using this, because even if you have the free program or the free app, it keeps it all there for you. It's really pretty robust and awesome.
And what I love about it too is for those who are not techie, who are not designers, who are just trying to make something happen, Canva lets you do that. It's so cool because, like you said, you were browsing the templates because you didn't know where to start. And that's the beauty of it, is they have hundreds, if not thousands, of templates for anything that you're thinking about. And you can adapt them to whatever you want. So what we're seeing here is just a blank screen that we added color. Then we added some text and we added color to it to make it pop on the screen here. We have a title up at the top that's bold, so that way it pops out.
Yeah.
And you can obviously do so much just with the text, like bold and italicize and all kinds of things that you normally would do in a Word program. And then we also added an image.
Yeah, a lot of speaker
Huge.
sheets have a bunch of pictures. So if you want to be on stage, it's helpful to have a picture of you already on stage. Get a picture somehow of you doing whatever it is. This one is super simple because I did it for one project, but I can easily adapt it.
As you can see here, we are inside Canva.com, and on our right-hand side, we have Midori's one sheet, which she created. It's simply text with an image and a logo and brand colors. And then down here, she has links and contact info.
It is time for business news and just kind of fun business news.
Yes.
So, what do you got for us today, Ed?
All right. So Paul Mitchell, you know him for hair, right? Yes. And fun fact, he also is known for Patron tequila.
Yes.
Which
yes.
I didn't know that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, when I found that out, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty inventive, but he's amazing.
And his story's amazing too. It's very interesting that he has been homeless twice. So not once, but twice. And he is a billionaire.
Yes, he is a billionaire. And so I heard about this story too, and I understood that the first time he was homeless, he was 22 years old, and he had a 2-year-old son. You know, he's gone on to do very, very well.
Yeah.
But I think what the story is, the deeper story here, is a story of perseverance.
Yes.
And we talked about our story, the story that we tell in our head.
Yes.
He could have always stayed that person who was homeless, right? A victim or whatever.
Yeah.
But he broke that story and created this amazing new story for himself.
And that's key. It's our brain believes what we tell it. And so if we stay in that mindset, we're never going to get off the streets.
Right.
But if we tell ourselves that we are and we start moving forward in that thinking and taking those actions, every little piece will take us closer. And he started Paul Mitchell with $700 startup cash.
Yeah. Amazing. Look what he's done.
Yeah.
And I think it's more of a vision. Okay,
Yes.
so regardless of whatever the dollar amount, it's all relative.
Yes, that's
So where do you want to take it? What choices do you need to make to get yourself there?
Yes.
I think we talked about in one episode, are you saving your money to buy yourself a nice lunch or dinner? Or are you trying to do whatever you can and stretch yourself to reach those big goals, right? So he's a perfect example of that. I love Paul Mitchell.
Yeah, I love that story.
Yeah, and he helps and he gives back and he's just amazing.
Yeah. So what do you got for us?
What I have is Mark Benioff. We are from Northern California near San Francisco, and of course Mark Benioff is one of the main founders of Salesforce.
Yes.
And there's a reason why he is super successful, and it's because he has huge cojones and he will do crazy things. He is known for some of his marketing gimmicks that for many of us, or for at least for me, would make me think maybe 5 times about it.
Yeah.
But one thing that he did in the very beginning when they were just launching Salesforce was he went after his competitor, which was called Siebel. Siebel Systems. Siebel Systems. They now have been bought out by Oracle. But at that time, they were their main competitor. And what he did was they were having this huge conference in San Francisco at the Moscone Center.
Huge.
And he hired actors to come and do a mock protest.
No.
Yes. In front of their conference, a mock protest. And then he hired media to come out and be there and do all this big hoopla.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker of what he did. He knew that Siebel was going to be majorly upset.
Yeah.
And they called the police.
Oh.
Awesome. Because what do they say? Was that term that they use? Any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah. And this is huge publicity.
Huge. And so anyway, the police came out. They said it was Salesforce. And it just made this huge, it was all over the news. This was big, big, big.
Yeah.
And what were they saying? The mock protesters were saying, they were chanting, the internet is really neat. Software is obsolete.
Well, and you really have to be strategic with that approach because that could go wrong real quick. It's, like the way that they handle that and everything.
Yeah.
You really have to think that through because,
it can backfire.
If you just say, let's go protest outside. That could turn into some bad PR.
Well, but also when you're starting up a business, if you want to be really big, you have to be ready to step into those shoes and do whatever it takes.
That's true.
Look at what Richard Branson has done. When he was launching his Virgin Airlines in Virgin America, which is now, now it's owned by Alaska. But when he first did it, he was jumping out of planes.
Yeah.
He was scaling.
He's an extremist.
Yeah, he scaled a building in Vegas. I remember this because I just missed the plane he was on.
Oh.
I was on it the day after he was on it.
Oh.
So anyway, you have to kind of be willing to step up and be crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and then
get
just
noticed.
and get noticed, and he did. So one other quick little story about Mark Benioff, another thing that he did, just because I want to get you thinking, not that you need to go this big,
Yeah.
but get you thinking about this, because I just think it's fantastic. Poor Siegel, another event that they were doing at Cannes, France, they were having a big event, and what he did was he rented all the taxis that day from the airport. So you flew into Nice, and then you took a cab to get to Cannes.
Yeah.
So he had his salespeople on there 45 minutes giving a sales pitch to all the people who came for the Cybele event.
See, and this is why doing your research is so important. You
Yes.
have to study your competition. You have to study the different businesses in your arena, because it's very important, because you can do things like this and know that it's actually going to work out because you have done your homework, and it's all about doing your homework. I love that.
Guerrilla marketing at its finest.
Yes.
Right? We talked about a lot of stuff today, starting with your story and changing your old story to a new story that empowers you more. We also talked about how to get more leverage for your YouTube videos and some techniques there to help you really blast out your business so people know about you. And then we tied it all together with our last segment with Ed about how to really kind of do some guerrilla marketing and to get creative. And you don't need to have money for a lot of this, but really think deeper and think of what you can do. Who you know, what would change things. And Ed had mentioned, really understand your competition. So thank you all for being here. As always, I am so grateful to have this beautiful venue provided by Collabs. So thank you, Collabs. We love it here, and it's been fantastic. But always, I want to leave you with the gratitude attitude. Remember to be grateful for what you have. Wake up in the morning, think of 3 things that you're super grateful for, and watch what happens in your day. And if you need some more tips, always you can go to the moxlife.com, where I have all kinds of free fun stuff for you, including a cool quiz that can help you. So I invite you to go check it out. Till next time.